I'm going to let you in on the secret. Don't tell anyone though. When I'm chipping, I don't think about the ball at all. If I'm playing you for money, I'm thinking about one thing, and it's not that white thing. In this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly what I'm thinking when I'm over the golf ball to produce the flight and the touch that I need to get the ball close. Joking aside, I'm genuinely not thinking about the golf ball when I'm chipping for money or competitively. I'm actually thinking about something completely different. I'm thinking about the ground. Kind of counterintuitive, because the thing that people have issues with is usually the ground. So why would you think about it? There's a preoccupation when you're trying to hit the golf ball, right? And especially when you're chipping and you strike it poorly, you chunk a few, you thin a few, the preoccupation with the ball becomes even stronger. So everything is driven towards the ball. And a lot of the time, things will stop at the golf ball. There's no follow through. Everything is just that attempt, let's get the club to the ball best I can and hope for the best. That's not enough to actually hit good shots, and it's certainly not enough to hit the ball close enough to get up and down with regularity. I'll try and be a bit more specific now though. I'm thinking about where the club's touching, how it's touching, the loft that's being delivered, a lot of stuff I covered in this video here a couple of weeks back. But I'm going to evolve on that slightly, and it's not just about routine, this one, which that video very much was, having you match your rehearsals to your actual execution. This is more about how you can use the ground to your benefit, how to deliver the club to different spots relative to the golf ball in different ways. Your ability to do this is going to have a massive influence on your control over the ball speed and the ball flight. Let me run you through a few examples first of all. So let's hit some shots. I'm going to go towards that middle flag. I'm going to start thinking about first touch. Right, so if I want to play a pretty stock shot, my first touch is going to be very, very close to the golf ball. It's not going to be after it, that's way too late. It might be marginally before. The ground is kind of firm, so I'm going to be closer, and it's a slight downslope, so I'm going to be closer to the ball still. But for stock, I'm pretty much going to try and deliver a little bit of lean. Okay, so I'm intentionally trying to get this club to lean towards target, so there's less loft than address. And I'm going to try and get a first touch to be quite light, but at the golf ball. But my focus is still the ground. Just a little bit short on the carry. Took a horrible bounce left off the fringe, but that's fine. Touch is okay. So you can hear there's a certain sound to it, a certain quality to the strike. Let's go again. If I want to hit it a little bit lower, I might go in with a little bit more lean, and I might look for a little bit more attack angle into the ball. So I'm going to shift that contact point further towards target. So the intent here is actually to be front side of the golf ball with shaft lean. This might go a little bit hot for the hole, but let's see. Actually popped up a little bit. That was okay. A little bit hot though, as you saw. Popped up, not enough spin, dirty club face most likely. I'm going to combine a couple of things. I'm looking at how I'm going to have the club leaning. I'm going to try and match that with where it touches and how it touches. Okay, so if I hit something a little bit higher, which isn't easy off this firm ground, right, I'm still going to have to be close to the golf ball because there's going to be a tendency for this club to bounce up. But now I'm going to use a different part of the club. I'm going to try and get trailing edge to touch first. Don't confuse that for me chucking this thing as hard as I can from the top and trying to hope for the best. I'm trying to get the sole of the club to skid a little bit more, but quite close to the golf ball. Again, the focus is not the ball, it's the ground. Still close enough, still crisp. If I find a little bit more grass, so let's go, here we go. So a foot away and suddenly I've got a cushion underneath the golf ball. This thing's going to want to go up anyway, right? So I'm going to try and hit a high shot still, but I'm going to hit a little bit further back. I'm going to move back half a golf ball to a ball, back from the ball I'm trying to hit. A bit more loft on it this time. I'm going to try and skid it. I'm going to try and use the sole, but I'm going to be significantly back from the golf ball. There'll be a different sound to this. A little bit strong on the flight, but still trajectory was good, just carried a little bit too far. If I try and do that same thing, I have that much loft, and I try and hit really close to the ball, there's actually a risk that something negative is going to happen, which might surprise you. So I'm going to go same kind of loft, I'm going to go at the golf ball this time. There you go, it's exactly what it is. So what had happened? Because there was some space under the golf ball and I had loft and my attack was steep enough, actually at the ball itself, I managed to chop straight underneath it. Now for that front right flag, that wasn't actually a bad shot, but I wasn't going at front right flag. I've chopped the legs right off it, so to speak. So when there's more cushion under the ball, you can actually use the ground more. Using the ground more lends itself to higher shots, and it's a little bit more predictable from a softer lie. Tight lies, you have to go at the golf ball because there's very little risk you go underneath it. So again, we're learning how to use the ground more effectively. Right? There is no right and wrong. You can be ground first, you can be ball first, but it has to suit the ground you're hitting from and the intent with the ball flight. To develop these skills, I look at delivering the club in lots of different ways. Just try and figure out kind of where you are. Right? So let's go in, we're going to go in feeling super shallow. So shallow for me is from this view, the club traveling very level to the ground. But let's go in super shallow with lots of shaft lean. So low loft, super shallow, and still try and manage my ground contact. The ball, again, it's a consequence, gets in the way. Oh, nudged it. As you chuck that on the track, man, it's still going to be 7, 8, 9 degrees down, despite it brushing the ground. The shaft lean contribution to attack angle is huge. Can't ignore it. Let's go shallow with loft. So I'm looking for that same kind of skiddy trajectory of the club into the ball, but this time I'm going to have some loft on it. Where's it going to touch? How is it going to touch? What's the loft presented? All that good info, but the ground is the focus. Much higher, much softer. Let's go to the other end, have some steep ones. So let's go steep, pretty low loft. So I'm actually going to try and get this to dig. The ground is firm. I'm going to try and get it to dig quite a long way forward. So lots of ball, contact on the ground forwards, lots of steepness. There's your low spinner. Don't forget that contact on the ground when you are coming in steep, low loft, can't be back here. That's the one that's going to kill you. If you're that kind of player, you're going to have that steepness to it. You deliver lots of lean. That contact point needs to be a long way forwards. It's not a right and wrong thing. It's a matchup. Let's go steep with loft. Tricky one, right? So I'm going to try and hit the ground way forwards, but I'm going to try and add loft at the bottom. So I'm going to let this go a little bit. This typically would produce something kind of mid-trajectory, but my club face is a little dirty. Ah, it's actually really nice. Just a little bit hot. So I try to move everything this way, try to hit the ground this side of the ball, but try to use a little bit more sole of the golf club. Long story short, I'm not thinking about the white thing on the ground. I'm thinking about this, where it's touching, how it's touching, loft delivered, and that becomes my external focus. I'm not chasing after the golf ball. The golf ball being struck is a consequence of that delivery of the club to the ground. So I look to use the ground positively versus players that struggle see the ground as a negative, like terrified of it. It can only be a bad thing, right? But as I just demonstrated, I can hit the ground in all kinds of different places in different ways and get reasonable outcomes. I'd recommend when you go to the practice ground, you do experiment, you do mess around with your focus point and also how you're delivering the club and see how that influences your mechanics. If you like this video, don't forget to visit wedgematrix.com where we have a free membership tier. We can get a little bit of insight into what we do there and also a pretty low price monthly membership, which gives lots more insight into this part of the game to help bring your scores down.